With the SEC Gymnastics regular season winding down, every score, every hit, every mistake starts to count even more. Today, the Florida Gators come to Auburn on the heels of a dramatic win over defending national champion Georgia, while the Tigers have gotten even better with age. The Gators and Tigers do battle in the SEC regular season finale for both squads. Next. Beard Eves Memorial Coliseum on the campus of Auburn in Alabama is the site for SEC Gymnastics this evening, and it is a matchup between two teams who are going to roll the dice, spin that wheel of fortune in their final regular season meet. The 4th-ranked Florida Gators against the number 16-ranked Auburn Tigers. Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Drever with Lori Strong-Ballard. Coach Ron DeFane for Florida looking relaxed and confident after that win over Georgia. While on the other side of the floor, Auburn coach Jeff Thompson is also comfortable in the knowledge that his Auburn Tigers defeated the defending national champions for the first time ever. They did that earlier this season. For more, let's go to Lori.
Well, Brian, Auburn created some momentum after that huge win against Georgia. And since then, in their last 2 meets, they put up their highest scores of the season. And consider this, Auburn traditionally does well against Florida. And after rest from a bye week, the Tigers have every reason to be confident heading into this meet.
Well, it's really a good thing that the week off came last week. We were passing around a head cold and a stomach virus, and one of the things we tried to do was keep it like a normal week. So we had a practice meet in the gym last week, and even though we competed against ourselves, we lost. We didn't have a very good day. No matter how much you try to fool them, no matter how much you try to convince them that it's the same as a regular competition, you know, you can't fool them. So what it did, it allowed us to heal up. It allowed us to focus on the little things, and hopefully we can, show off a little bit tonight.
Auburn has a fairly young team with several athletes who step up into key roles, but if you had to pick a go-to girl right now, it would be sophomore Allison Sandusky, who doesn't compete in the all-around, but is capable of putting up near 9 nines on 3 events. Now, speaking of momentum, Florida comes in here after an intense, high-scoring win against Georgia last week. But hey, in the past, they have struggled against Auburn, but their head coach, Ron DeFane, is very pleased with where her team is right now in the season and is not concerned about a let-up tonight.
In the past, when we've come here, we've put in different lineups to try and rest athletes, and I think when we've done that, that's where we've had falls. And we, last time we were here, we put in 2 people that were never in our floor lineup to rest some of our others, and we're not doing that this time. It's really important that we come away with a solid road score, and also we've knocked a few competitions off of our season, so we're able to compete less, so our athletes are not having to rest in the competitions.
Now, Florida also has a very young team. Over 50% of their routines come from an extremely talented freshman class, and leading the way for them is Ajane Dickerson, who is ranked 3rd in the country in the all-around right now. And what impresses me most about her is her ability to find clean landings, her body awareness, and how she has already handled tremendous pressure this season. Now, Florida's ranked top 6 on all 4 events, but their strength are the power events, vault and floor. And Auburn prides themselves on their consistency on beam, but they have struggled a little bit this year on floor. This is both Auburn and Florida's final SEC matchup before the conference championships in just a couple of weeks. So one final tough test and an opportunity to fine-tune before those championships. Brian?
Both teams have steadily been building strength through the course of the season. The scores have been getting better since their very first outings in the SEC Conference. The toughest conference in the nation is about to witness yet another matchup between 2 of its strongest teams. Both have high hopes for the national championships as well. First rotation, vault and bars when we come back. Welcome back to a rowdy Beard Eves Memorial Coliseum, where 4th-ranked Florida and 16th-ranked Auburn are getting set for their first rotations. Auburn, the home team, will be on vault, and Florida leads this series 45-12. 11 straight times Auburn has gone down to the Gators. They're hoping to end that here tonight. Here are the starting lineups.
And Florida leads with 2 freshmen on bars, but their last 3 up are all capable of winning this event. And for Auburn, Katrina Yoke's in the vault lineup for the first time this year. She's been dealing with an ankle injury. That could be a question mark here.
We start out with senior Chrissy Voss. She was Auburn's Freshman of the Year in 2007. She hit 100% of her vault routines last year.
Doing a vault with a 10-0 start value. The Yurchenko half front layout, big step out on the landing, but pretty good vault itself.
You hate to see those steps out because that's the mistakes that the coaches are always trying to fix at this point in the season.
Take a look at what happened here. She looks like she pikes a little bit early on the vaulting table. That will draw her energy down and create extra rotation. That's why she takes the step.
9.750 the score for Chrissy Voss on vault. And we go to Ajane Dickerson. This is the super freshman for Florida.
And Ajane has proved her stability over and over this year, and that is why she's in this leadoff position. She also anchors on 2 events here. 2 very important positions in the lineup, the leadoff and the anchor. Doing a nice job with her release element. There's her connection from high to low bar and back up to the high bar. Just the dismount, maybe a little shy there on that handstand. Double layout, step out on the landing.
But big athletic ability from Ajane Dickerson, who has 4 all-around wins this season.
This release element is huge. It's a Hindorf, and she missed it in warm-up, but you can see from that angle she is dead on in her height and distance, but she comes in a little short of rotation on the dismount.
Uneven bar score for Ajane Dickerson, 9.800, the only apparatus in which she is not highly ranked in the nation. We go over to Auburn's Allison Sandusky, a sophomore competing in 3 events here this evening and having a great sophomore season.
I came in this year more confident because I knew what college gymnastics was like. Freshman year everything was so brand new. I had no clue what was going on. Now I know what needs to be done to go out there and be able to compete at my best.
No sophomore slump for Allison. You know, as a freshman, you are adjusting to being away from home, new classes, new coaches and teammates, and learning how to compete every weekend and trying to peak every weekend. Vaulting Yurchenko, layout with a half turn. You can see a little bit of a direction problem there, but she had a nice straight body position in the air.
At a career best 9.875 as a freshman. She's gone 9.85 twice this season.
She's very aggressive with this vault, and I like that. Take a look at her body position. Pretty good stretch. She initiates the flip first and then the turn. A little direction and a hop on the landing.
Yeah, a little off her average. 9.75 for Allison Sandusky on the vault for Auburn. Coming up, one of Florida's senior leaders, Miranda Smith. A young gymnast dreaming of performing here in Beard Eves Memorial Coliseum somewhere in their future, perhaps, as number 4 Florida and number 16 Auburn continue to go at it. Here's Toy Garcia, one of the freshmen for Auburn.
She was recruited for her power and her vaulting ability. It's been solid for them so far this year. Big, powerful vault, but again, a huge step out on the landing. Auburn has been good, but they've given away so much on their landings tonight, about 5/10 already.
It doesn't take much, a 10th or 2 here and there, they add up.
Good explosive height. Her legs are glued together through the full twist, but over-rotates it.
That little step cost her, and a 9.75 is what the judges have awarded her. As we go over to Florida's Amanda Castillo, who had Achilles surgery a year ago. She's happy with the rehab so far.
I feel so much better. It's unbelievable how much better I feel. I'm just working really hard in the gym, trying to get back to my potential and training floor and vault and bars. I'm training all around at gym, but been competing bars mostly.
And her coach, Rhonda Fain, says it's important to get her back in more of these lineups because she brings so much to this team, not only with her gymnastics, but with her enthusiasm and her attitude. She's been back on bars pretty much all year. This is the least stressful event on the Achilles, but she says that she desperately wants to get back in that floor lineup. That's her favorite event.
Well, she was such a standout as a freshman and a sophomore. She won't be happy until the wins start coming again.
Doing a great job here on her bar routine. Hitting that final handstand. Looking for the vertical position and a stuck landing here. This could be tough on the Achilles. Oh, just a tiny scoot of the foot.
Well, she hit it fairly well. Her career best of 9.95 came before her injury. We'll see how close she gets to that.
She was close on this Jaeger salto in warm-up. She does a good job here. Judges want to see them catch with their elbow straight and a good swing out. She moves the foot on the landing. That's pretty much the major mistake of the routine. 9.875.
That's a pretty good score for Amanda Castillo. She's inching her way towards those career best marks that she set as a freshman and a sophomore. And here's Patrina Yoke, another freshman for Auburn.
first time in competition this year, and she comes in short big time. She injured her ankle before the first meet of the season, has been rehabbing and dealing with it, thought she was strong enough to come out here and compete today, but that stings. That hurts bad. The vault is a handspring front pike half. Jeff Thompson says that she could be a huge contributor to this vault lineup, but today she had a big job on her hand. She was going up last and first time competing.
9.0, they'll drop that score by Katrina Yoke. They might have hoped for a little bit better to add to their team total of 48.8 for the first rotation, and it'll be interesting to see whether she can go in the next rotation. She's scheduled up on bars. Meanwhile, here's Miranda Smith from California.
So far, Florida has been solid. They've given away a little bit on the landings of their dismount. They've stuck 2, but stepped on 3. Giant full, out bar to Katya. Good job.
She has a career best 9.925 in the win against Michigan.
Dismount is difficult. It's a blind landing. Giant half, there it is. Double front, half out.
Well, she kind of pirouetted out of that one and disguised what might have been a step as she whirled around, but the team, they like that.
That's senior experience right there, trying to cover up the landing and hold on to every 10th possible. It's a double front. She turns, tries to look for the landing, and there's a score, 9.875. That matches her season best. A great routine.
And the Florida Gators huddle up with 49.325 on the scoreboard for the first rotation. They'll enjoy about a half-point lead as Katrina Yoke and the Auburn Tigers head for the uneven parallel bars in rotation number 2. And Florida goes to the vault, one of their better events, when we come back. SEC Women's Gymnastics is brought to you by Wendy's. You know when it's real. Oh, second rotation, yes, Fox Sports Net. Glad you could join us here on the television as Florida enjoys a half-point lead going into the second rotation. Coach Rhonda Fain still smiling, still confident. Her Gators getting the job done. And they're very highly ranked in this, while over on the Auburn side, there's Katrina Yoke. Looks like she is getting ready to go.
That's good news for Auburn. She's going to go, ankle injury and all. And I was impressed with Auburn's bars at the start of the season, but they will have to be fantastic today. Since Florida's on one of their best events, they're ranked number 3 in the country on vault.
A crucial rotation for Auburn if they hope to come out of their own house with a win here tonight. Courtney Gladys will go for Florida on the vault.
Courtney was not happy with her landings in her last couple performances. That has been her focus this week in practice. Oh, and gets a good one tonight.
Job well done for Courtney Gladys right there. A career best of 9.925. We could see it.
One of her best vaults for sure. This is a blind landing, and she knows exactly where she is. Take a look right there. She almost flares her chest backwards. Her arms come out, and she gets after the stuck landing.
New season best, 9.90 for Courtney Gladys, and a solid number for the Florida Gators in rotation number 2. Here's Kylie Shields, sophomore out of New York. Very versatile as a freshman, competing in vault, uneven bars, balance beam.
She has competed every event in every meet this year. She set a season high all-around score last week. On bars, there's her Jaeger release element. We do another release from high to low. That is called a bail to handstand. Good job at hitting the vertical position on the low bar. Trying to push to that vertical position on that last handstand. Maybe a little shy. Sticks the landing.
Very nicely done. Once her feet hit the floor, they stayed there. And Kylie Shields can be proud of this.
This Jaeger is one of those skills when you are learning, you miss it about 1,000 times. Don't catch the bar, you hit the mat, land on your stomach, but here she is dead on in her distance.
And a 9.85 for Kylie Shields. That's a good number for Auburn. Coach Jeff Thompson says, yes, well done. Here's Ajane Dickerson once again. 3 times SEC Freshman of the Week. The honors just keep piling up for this young woman.
Powerful vaulter. Oh, and another big vault, but she moved her foot slightly on the landing. They may have to take a 10th deduction there.
Well, Florida swept the honors last week with Ajane being Gymnast of the Week, Marissa King Freshman of the Week.
I've seen her outright nail this vault before. Last week she went 9.95. I think we could see a perfect 10 from her at some point this year.
That 9.95 came in the win against Georgia. 9.875 here this evening against Auburn. Oh, the Florida Gators are getting it done. They're chomping in the grandstands here, even away from home. Aubie's enjoying himself here at Beard Eves Memorial Coliseum as the 4th-ranked Florida Gators lead the 16th-ranked Auburn Tigers. I'm Brian Drebber with Lori Strong-Ballard. And Katrina Yoke has been dealing with an ankle injury that she just aggravated a little bit in her vault, but it's an old one.
We had a workout here before our first meet against Alabama, just to test out the equipment. And during my last tumbling pass, I landed really short and hurt my ankle pretty bad. So I haven't been able to compete much this year, but I have been doing bars, which was kind of my weakest event, but I've learned to compete it pretty well. But now I'm slowly coming back, and I'm really excited because I love to compete, and that's what I'm here for.
So the positive here, the ankle injury has helped her improve her weakness bars. The routine should be fine here, even though she hurt it again on vault, but the dismount could be questionable. Oh, very interesting eye-catching skill right there. It's called an Iova. She's the only one in this competition doing it.
Hopefully she's not thinking too hard about that dismount, because here it comes.
Hop full, a little out of line there. Oh,
nicely
fights for
done.
the landing on the dismount.
Yes, nicely done. And now that it's over, she can go ahead and favor that ankle just a little bit.
This is that original skill, the Iova. It's like a straddle back, but she adds a variation to it by doing a half turn right there and finishing facing the low bar.
9.85 for Katrina Yoke. Nice comeback. Over on the Florida side, Marissa King getting set to go. Freshman from Cambridge in the UK. She is the national champion of her home country and a 2008 Olympian.
She's upped the difficulty since we last saw her last week. Oh. Not a full, but a 1.5 tonight.
Wow, that's quick.
Last week she set a collegiate best on this vault. Sukahara with a 1.5 twist. Big time difficulty here. The technique is similar to what we see the men doing. One hand in the front of the table, the other on the back of the table. Big power and distance. Oh, a 9.85. I thought it would be a little higher.
Well, Marissa King has put a solid contribution in there for the team score for Florida, 49.300. They continue to roll as Auburn tries to keep pace. Here's Allison Sandusky again on the uneven bars.
Mounts over the low bar. There's a combination into a release element here. Giant half into a piked Jaeger. She makes it more difficult by doing it with her feet together. That's an E-level skill. Bailed a handstand. Nice job on the handstand.
She competed in all 13 meets and counted her scores as a freshman.
She went 9.9 last week. If she sticks the dismount, she could be close to that here. Oh, steps out on the landing.
There's that step back, and a little step here and a little step there is what's hurting Auburn right now as a team.
They cannot give away any tenths when you are up against a team like Florida. There's a look at that E-level piked Jaeger, good distance from the bar so she doesn't catch her heels.
9.825 for Allison Sandusky. Perhaps a little disappointing. She knows that they must stick those landings. As a team, 49.150 is a new season best, however, for the Auburn Tigers.
So that's 3 meets in a row over 49. That is strong, but again, they can gain 3 or 4 tenths with those landings.
Third rotation when we come back. Florida leads. Oh, we're kissing babies in the grandstands, and we're practicing our dance moves, and we're having all kinds of fun here as Florida leads the Auburn Tigers by a little over a half a point. Here are the lineups. Florida goes to the 4 exercise, and Auburn to the balance beam.
Auburn prides themselves on their consistency on beam, but when they are behind, they have to attack and not be tight or conservative on this event.
Junior Katie Hurley has competed in 5 of 6 meets for the Tigers this season.
And she starts with a big mount. There's a lot of risk doing a front tuck. Quite often you're seeing a lot of the collegiate athletes mount with something a little bit more simple and save the risk for on the beam. Double series, back handspring layout. Oh. Tiny bit of a wobble there, but she fights hard. Combination here, switch leap to a straddle quarter. Athletes are required to show a leap or jump that shows 180-degree split.
back with her foot. Know where she is.
Dismount, round off, double full again, trying to find that stuck landing.
Just a little bit of a step, but Katie Hurley has shown the experience that a junior brings to the team in putting up a good, solid routine.
And I do like the way that she attacked this routine. She was fighting on this tumble series here, 2 back handsprings to a layout. You see she's a little short on rotation, comes up slightly crooked, but holds on to it. Maybe a 1/10 deduction for that wobble versus 5/10 had she fallen off.
So she managed to stay on the beam and salvage all of the 9.750 score that the judges have given her. Katie Hurley stands by as we go to Amy Ferguson for Florida. She's one of the home state girls out of the greater Tampa area.
This is a fun routine. It's full of life. Opening with a front tumbling pass. It's a difficult one, a front double twist. Maybe slightly unstable on the landing.
She scored 9-9 twice this season against LSU and again in the win against Georgia.
Now showing off her backward tumbling, a double pike. Tiny bit short in rotation, but she keeps this routine moving. I like the energy and the music, especially for a second up routine. It really gets the crowd involved as well as your teammates involved. There's the gator chomp.
Inevitably, she's been a solid member of the floor exercise lineup, including all the way through her freshman year as well.
Just keep in mind, Florida hosts the national championships this year, so it's important for them to really practice on floor, trying to involve their teammates and getting the crowd involved, because they will certainly have that home crowd behind them.
Amy Ferguson finishing up her floor exercise.
It's a very interesting last tumbling pass. Round off 1.5. Front layout half, double stag into the front tuck, down to the knee.
Nice, very nice, and entertaining. That's the best part of it when you're in the stands. Amy Ferguson for Florida.
That's exactly what this routine was, entertaining. The difficulty in this last pass is not huge. She does get some combination bonus for it, but she keeps the energy up and she keeps the routine alive all the way to the end with connected skills and a 9.825.
A little short of her season best, but a very solid performance for Amy Ferguson. And we move to Chrissy Voss, the senior all-rounder from Paradise Valley, Arizona, ranked 23rd in the nation.
And their head coach, Jeff Thompson, told us that one of his highlights this year was the way that Chrissy Voss is leading this team. She's really developed this year into a strong leader.
Well, she can show some additional leadership here with a solid score on the balance beam. Her career best of 9.8, not all that impressive, and it came a couple of years ago. She's just solid all around.
And aggressive there, finishing with her front aerial. Looks confident. Going for the tumble series, back handspring layout, a little bit sloppy with the legs in the air. In the past, Auburn has had one or two sensational standout all-arounders like Lindsay Puckett or Julie Dwyer, just to name a few. But this year, although Chrissy is good in the all-around, so is Kylie Shields, there's no real superstar on this team. It's truly a team effort, and I think that is helping them build as a team and may help them in the future.
Well, they have so many young athletes that they have to look somewhere for leadership, and this is that somewhere they look right here.
Chrissy has a big dismount planned. Again, we're not seeing as many difficult mounts and difficult dismounts as we used to, but she's going for it there with the double back. Steps back on the landing.
Just a little step out. That's been their bugaboo all evening long, and perhaps for the season they have not been able to get a handle on these landings.
We have to keep in mind that Auburn had a bye week last week, which is good. It enabled them to rest a little bit. They had a few sicknesses going around the team, but sometimes that can take the edge away from your performance.
9.825, a good solid score, and in fact a new career best for Chrissy Voss as we move once again to Marissa King. Freshman Gymnast of the Week.
An Olympic and World Championship gymnast. The quality of her gymnastics is exquisite. Opening with a double Arabian. Tries to find the landing. She came to Florida late because she chose to stay and compete at the World Championships for her country, England.
She also considered Stanford, Georgia, and Alabama before finally deciding on Gainesville.
Second tumbling pass, combination, front, step out, round of handspring, double back, clean landing.
3 times she scored 9.85 in floor exercise this season.
She's great personality, and she shows it off in this routine. I've been really impressed with the way that she has adapted to the collegiate style of gymnastics. Very different than the elite or international style that's a little bit more conservative. She knows how to dance. She knows how to bring out the personality and play up to the crowd. Excellent routine.
Marissa King finishing up her floor exercise to the great delight of even the Auburn crowd here.
The difficulty was great. The presentation was fantastic. I like this routine. Opening with a double Arabian, that's an E-level skill, the most difficult one the athletes are doing in collegiate gymnastics. A 9.825, I thought that would be a little bit higher here.
A little short of her season best, but a good, solid effort and a wonderfully entertaining performance. Yeah, they're gator chomping in the grandstands. Third rotation continues, and Coach Jeff Thompson understandably a little bit concerned as he is trailing the Florida Gators here in the third rotation. We go to Allison Sandusky, one of his standout performers on the balance beam.
So far, Auburn has had no falls on beam. They need some bigger scores here.
Her career best of 9.875 came a couple of weeks ago. In her last meet, they had a week off, remember. Continues to improve.
The skills connected here. Swing wolf, front aerial, changement. It's difficulty credit for the front aerial as well as combination bonus because she adds the jumps. Back handspring layout her series and takes a wobble. Couple tenths.
She hit 29 of 30 routines as a freshman in 3 different apparatus. That's consistency.
She has beautiful straight legs and a nice toe point that shows off nicely on this event. Dropped her shoulders slightly into that second jump. Took away a little bit of the amplitude. At least side aerial.
Very clean.
For the landing here for a big score. Nice job on her 1.5.
Stuck the landing pretty well. We'll have to see what the judges thought of the routine as a whole. But Allison Sandusky, the sophomore.
This routine had 3 different salto elements, a front aerial, a side aerial, plus this tumble series back handspring layout. She fights hard to avoid the 5/10 deduction for a fall. We'll lose about 2 tenths there, but it had a nice combination of skills.
There's the 2 tenths, a 9.8 for Allison Sandusky with that one wobble. At least she did not have to count a fall. And here is Miranda Smith, the 3-time All-American for Florida, and always one of the highlights when she's on the floor.
Florida's had 1 fall on floor since we saw Marissa King hit for a 9.825, but Miranda has great experience and can pull things back on track here.
She had a career best of 9.925 twice last year and did it again this year against LSU.
Opening with one of those big E-level skills. It's a piked full in and done beautifully.
Now she's turning up the heat in the performance part of her routine.
Talked about the gator chomp earlier. All the routines have a gator chomp, but it's interesting this year, there it is, how they've incorporated it artistically within the choreography.
Yeah, it isn't so obvious. They kind of sneak it in there, making you look for it a little bit.
Pushing through front tumbling, front full to a front layout. Well done. The routine is 1.5 minutes long, and it is high intensity from start to finish. The endurance is so important. We have to keep in mind that Florida competed against Georgia in a very intense, high energy meet last week. The concern here tonight could be a lack of energy, trying to rebuild that energy. Came in just maybe slightly short on that last tumbling pass.
Well, she was trying to push through there, but you know, coming off such a huge win over Georgia, there's always going to be just a little bit of a letdown no matter how hard you try not to have it happen.
Opening pass was done very well. Good position in the piked position. That increases the difficulty of that tumbling pass.
9.80 from the judges, so perhaps a little of that energy and a little of that over the top missing. There's nothing missing in the devotion of the Auburn fans as Kylie Shields, the sophomore from New York, is set to go on balance beam.
Kylie has anchored beam in all but one meet this year. 5 routines ahead of her, all hit. With maybe a few wobbles, so the pressure is relieved slightly, but there's always high expectations for your best beam worker to get one of those big scores.
Well, she scored over a 9.8 7 times last season. So they've come to expect big numbers from Kylie Shields on the balance beam.
Nice amplitude on her switch leg to a straddle jump. Setting up for the series, you don't want to take too long, too many pauses in the routine, messes up the rhythm, slight wobble on the layout.
Oh, and that's a big one.
Wobble on her front tuck.
Well, she saved it though.
Again, we are seeing this Auburn team fight to stay on the beam. You can tell they've been well trained. They do a lot of numbers and high pressure situations on this event. Oh, excellent job on her tertiate half. Very disciplined on the landing position. And an excellent job on the dismount. I like the way that her dismount raises way above the balance beam on the gainer full. But again, a slight wobble on the tumble series. It doesn't look like she got herself back into rhythm before this front tuck here. She drops her left shoulder slightly there. Big deduction on that wobble, but not as big as a fall would be.
So it's going to be a little bit below her average at 9.750, Kylie Shields. And Auburn as a team goes 48.775 in this third rotation. They're losing ground to Florida and might lose a little bit more as Ajane Dickerson comes up on floor exercise. She's currently leading in the individual all-around as well.
Opening with a double Arabian, the same opening pass we saw Marissa King do earlier.
One of the parts I like best about floor exercise is all the teammates sort of pantomiming her routine on the sidelines. They know it as well as she does, perhaps.
Front pike, round off, double back. She takes out the back handspring on that tumbling pass to give herself a little bit more room. She has that incredible power and needs as much room as possible.
She's so explosive. She had a career best 9.925 in the win over Georgia. And she won the all-around that night as well.
One of the great freshmen on this team. We talked about their youth and the talent that they have in their freshman class. Marissa King, who's vivacious and has a great personality. Ajane Dickerson here, she's a little bit more quiet. She's a hard worker and very consistent. And of course, powerful. It showed there.
Very explosive and powerful as Ajane Dickerson, with an eye on that all-around title again, has put up a solid floor exercise routine.
I've been so impressed with her ability to handle pressure this year. She leads off on bar. She's an anchor performer on vault and floor, and she gets the job done again.
9.875, not a huge score, but good enough to push Florida to a 49.075 as a team. And they continue to build on their lead here through 3 rotations. The Auburn fans are trying to put on a happy face. Welcome back to our 4th and final rotation here between Florida and Auburn. Auburn, as the home team, is on floor exercise. Florida, the always risky balance beam.
Auburn's been working hard to improve on floor. Toy Garcia is back in the lineup after being a little bit inconsistent at the start of the year. When she hits, she can score big. Now, Florida has struggled to break that 49 mark on beam this year. They will need to be sharp to reach the coveted overall score of a 197, a huge accomplishment for them on the road here.
Rebecca Zeisser, a senior out of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. Missed most of last season, broke a bone in her foot in January, but in '08, she's earned her first beam title and set career best marks on this apparatus.
She's back in the lineup this week after sitting out for 2 weeks. These athletes have to earn their spot in the lineup every week. Nice job on her tumble series. Switch half, changement. Has pretty form on this event. Nice straight legs, good extension.
Her season best score came in a win over Arkansas a couple weeks ago.
Almost a wobble on her front aerial there. You can see she came up with her hip turn slightly. Rebecca has a 4.0 GPA in biology. She's a pre-med student, very smart and disciplined, and that kind of discipline pays off on balance beam, an event that you have to be focused on every skill one at a time, and on the technique, especially when you're under pressure. Fantastically sharp through this routine. The dismount, round off double twist, clean form in the air, just a tiny bit of a hop on the landing.
And there is the team and the coach over there to congratulate her. They always support each other so well, win or lose.
Front aerial, second leg turned in slightly, slight wobble.
And a 9.80, little deduction from the judges for Rebecca Zeiser, and Florida continues to lead. And here is Toy Garcia. They took her out of the lineup for a few weeks, but she's back.
You can see the scores, 9.275. She has big tumbling, but she can only score when she hits. Opening with that E-level skill of piked full in. Good job there.
See if she makes the most of being back in the lineup for Auburn.
A little more confidence and experience. She can be one of the top floor workers on this Auburn team. 2.5 to a front tuck.
Very quick rotations in the air.
Absolutely see her athletic ability in the tumbling. Switch side to a polka. That's a straddle jump with a full twist. Taking advantage of the choreography down low on the floor to give the legs a little bit of a break. She's preparing here for her final tumbling pass. Another big one, double pike, and she hits 3 tumbling passes. Hits a routine for the first time this year. It's a good one.
Oh, yeah, her teammates know about it. They're coming over there waiting for the music to end before they come out onto the floor. Toy Garcia can expect a very nice score for that routine.
First tumbling pass is a full in the pike position. There's 2 rotations with a full twist in the first one.
9.825 for Toy Garcia. That's a new career best. Liz Green getting set to go on her favorite apparatus, the balance beam. She is ranked in the top 20 in the country.
It's always been my favorite event. I've always loved to train it, and it feels calming when I'm up there. I just have confidence from the routines in the gym to the meet. I just treat it the same way. And I've always just had fun training it and learning new skills, and always find it a challenge, which is good.
Liz Green, as in the color she told you, she has a very cute and vivacious personality. Mounting there with some shoulder stands, made famous by a Romanian gymnast, Daniela Silvas.
Coached by another famous gymnast, Kim Zemeskel, World Championship all-arounder.
You have to give Kim Zemeskel, who is a world champion, and her husband, Chris Burdett, a lot of credit for preparing this athlete so well. She came in late to this Florida team and was ready to compete right away, stepped into the lineups, and has been consistent so far this year.
Heavily recruited by quite a few of the universities, most in the SEC.
Liz grew up doing beauty pageant work, and it shows in her charisma and the way she carries herself with confidence, especially on this event beam. She's finished in the top 3 in 5 of her collegiate beam performances. She's already competing like a seasoned veteran.
Junior Olympics and Senior A national team selection. That's why she was so heavily recruited. We're seeing a little bit of it here.
Beautiful skills in this routine. She started with a big skill called an anodi.
You're seeing some of her flexibility and lines throughout the routine.
She set a high mark of 9.875 in Florida's loss to Alabama.
There's the dismount, cartwheel gainer full, and a big salute finish.
Oh, she was happy about that one, and so is Rhonda Fain and the rest of the team.
It's interesting how she starts all of her skills in high toe position. That's her personal style. This is the Onodi. You can't rush it because it's a twisting skill. Set the direction, half turn, then reach for the hands for the front walkover.
9.85, a little short of her season best, but a good solid performance by Liz Green as we move to the final routines when we come back, including the all-arounders. Oh, the Gatorheads are chomping at the thought of winning a 6th meet this year. Florida in a pretty good position to do so. Kylie Shields going on floor exercise. She did score a perfect 10 once before her college career. Even with that, though, she's probably not going to win the all-around here tonight.
Starting deep in the corner for her opening tumbling pass. Double back, well done. Not huge difficulty there.
Very solid.
We'll see changes in the music. It keeps it fresh. We'll also see changes in the style of choreography throughout this routine. A robot dance, having some fun.
Nice contrast.
That's one of the great things about collegiate gymnastics is these athletes and coaches have a little bit more freedom to play with their routines and show some personality. Front tumbling pass, front layout to a front layout half. It's clean.
Resting a little bit before her next tumbling pass.
And again, another change of music.
Yep.
Final pass going hard for a double pike. Almost a little short, but she pulls up her chest aggressively into the lunge position.
That final pose reminiscent of a move earlier in her routine. And she's collecting the high fives.
Overall, the routine was pretty clean. The difficulty was medium, but she did finish strong with this D level pass. It's important to keep the level of difficulty up right to the end.
9.825, reflecting a good solid performance of what you say was a routine not filled with difficulty, but Kylie Shields will finish up her evening in good shape. Ajane Dickerson, however, leads the individual all-around as she comes to the balance beam.
Last week against Georgia, she had a career high in the all-around of 39.625. She may be a couple tenths off that all-around score tonight. Scores have been a little bit tighter tonight, but Ajane is also maybe not quite as polished as she was competing against Georgia, a huge team last week.
Even so, she's in a good position to win her 5th individual all-around title here tonight. Oh, if she doesn't fall off.
That won't be too big of a difference right there. Probably about a 1/10 to 2/10 deduction on her front tuck.
Would have been huge if she fell off, and would have allowed Marissa King, who's currently 2nd in the all-around, to take the lead.
Absolutely. Seeing some fierce competition in the all-around from her teammates this year, especially Marissa King. That's great for a team to have top all-arounders pushing each other to another level week in and week out.
Ajane has anchored the beam lineup every meet except one when she handed that over to Amanda Castillo.
She needs a 9.725 to secure, to tie the all-around with Marissa King. Anything higher will win it. Steps out on a double back, and I still think this routine is good enough to go higher than a 9.725.
Well, it's going to be close, though. She did have a couple of big wobbles.
Probably about a 1/10 deduction here, maybe 2/10. Front tuck is a difficult skill, and if you are slightly crooked on the takeoff,
and there
you
it
pay
is.
for it on the landing.
9.8 will give Ajane Dickerson the individual all-around title, her 5th of the season, and it adds to the score for Florida. They put up a 49.1 on the balance beam in the 4th rotation. And that will salt away another team victory for Florida here this season as we take a look at Auburn's Rachel Innes on the floor exercise. Auburn has done a pretty good job this evening as well.
They were good tonight, and they have had a few mistakes, though.
almost like they were trying to regain that crispness or their assuredness after having a bye week last week. But I think in the end, the rest of the bye week will help, and they'll get the precision back. Rachel opening with a super clean double pike. Now, she anchored this lineup on floor to get that win against Georgia a couple weeks ago. A huge accomplishment for this Auburn team.
She is the middle of 7 children and is an accounting major. Maybe she'll be busy doing taxes for the family here in a few weeks.
I think she has some more gymnastics on her plate.
Sort of backs into the corner there with some funky moves.
Second tumbling pass combination, whip half, front full. Little bit of a direction problem there.
Stepped out a little towards the end. Prowling like a tiger, I would have to say, is my interpretation.
Some attitude, taking a big deep breath before that final tumbling pass. It's a tough one. Nice and high, double tuck, solid on the landing. Great routine.
Yeah.
Good positive finish for Auburn tonight.
Career best of 9.9. She could be very close to that as Rachel Innes leaves the floor. The judges are tallying up their scores for the final performer in our meet between Florida and Auburn. Auburn is not going to win the meet, but they can hold their heads up high with moments like this. Rachel Innes finishes her final tumbling pass with a double tuck, and the judges give her a 9.85 for her individual performance. That'll be totaled into Auburn's team score of 48.975 on this 4th and final rotation. They'll come up short of a win. Florida's going to take this one 196.8 to 195.7. Let's go to Laurie on the floor with the winners.
Thanks, Brian. Rondo, we saw consistent scores and performances across the board tonight. What do you think of your team's performance?
I was really pleased with the way they performed. They were aggressive. They had a lot of energy, which is what we've really been pushing for at road meets. And I thought they really put a good one together.
Well, congratulations on a great win. And Ajane, your 5th all-around title in your freshman year. How are you able to come in and week out with such consistent and great performances?
I just feed off from what my teammates, they tell me to calm down and relax, and it's just to have fun.
Well, congratulations and good luck to both of you in the rest of the season. Back to you, Brian.
Thanks as always, Laurie. Once again, our final score, the Florida Gators 196.8 to Auburn Tigers 195.7. Now both teams move on to higher aspirations and goals. And we thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, for Laurie Strong-Ballard, I'm Brian Drever. So long, everybody.